Hello and welcome to another model building workshop. I am Mr. Allen and I'm coming to you from inside the Smith Hill Library here in Providence, Rhode Island on behalf of the Community Libraries of Providence. And today we're going to be looking at this Revell kit of the F-84G Thunderjet. This kit dates from 2009, or at least that's when the boxing of this one was. And this is an interesting aircraft for a number of reasons, which we'll get into that in just a second. Some details on the box here before I put this down. Let's take a look at the instruction sheets here. I'll give you a brief summary of what it says here. It says, although it proved to be the most effective and successful fighter bomber in the Korean conflict, the contributions of the F-84G Thunderjet go well beyond that. The Thunderjet was the first production fighter bomber to be fitted with in-flight refueling capabilities, and it was the first fighter bomber to have the ability to deliver a nuclear weapon. Wow. So let's take a look at the instruction sheet. So it's got a list of the colors you need here that are just by name, not by numbers, not by any manufacturer numbers. And assembly, a lot of these blow-up diagrams. Some of these are a bit busy, but not terrible. Tells you what color you need to paint things. Different panels and things to put in. So there's quite a bit going on here in the interior. And then we get to the tail and the wing assembly here. And then we get to the landing gear. Oops. And how that goes. Brakes, air brakes here. Speed brake. And it has a support. If you don't put the nose weight, you have a support you can put to hold the plane up on the table. There's a lot of these jet kits with the tricycle landing gear require you to add weight to weigh them down so they'll stay on your shelf better. Now you have choices of armament here. You get the nuclear weapon, which is pretty huge, or you have the pylons with standard ordnance here. And then we get on to the rockets. So this is an attack aircraft, a bomber and attack plane. You got fuel vents and you got flaps and things going on here. And the canopy and then your pilot figure. How to paint that. And you get some painting options here. These are in the natural metal finish. Some colorful emblems. So one is with the 20th Fighter Bomber Wing in 1952, the top one. And the bottom one is in the 9th Fighter Bomber Squadron in Korea in 1953. Some more details there. And for the rest of the stencils and all the other decals, quite a lot. I'll show you the decal sheet here, which is very large, and very colorful. Quite a bit going on here. And all of these stencils, look at them all. So if you want to lose your eyesight, you got plenty to work with there. So I was searching for some other options. Okay, let's start with this. So here's a photograph of a group of the F-84s. See the stripes in the first one down at the bottom there. So this is the American 1950s look. But if you're not interested in that, there are other options. So since these were used by many countries, the choices are almost endless with this. So here's an example of a decal sheet. This is from High Decal. Oops. And you get a few different options here if you were interested in doing something different. So there's Denmark, there's Iran, and combined, you get the Yugoslavian Air Force. So there's a few options if you bought that sheet. Doing a little bit of digging. So this web page, Alexander Sekulorak, I guess, had this one that he had done in a Yugoslavian paint scheme. Notice the gray and green camouflage. So if you're not into the natural silver look, there are camouflage painted versions out there that different countries had. It's more of the Yugoslavian one, which is intriguing. And then there's some other ones here, like an Iranian one here in the imperial period, late 50s. This is from Modeler Decals. Not familiar with that brand, but so you could do that if you wanted. And there's a few random other options, like a French one. Portuguese. And this just shows Denmark and, does it say the bottom? I'm thinking it's Iran down the bottom, I think. But anyway, you get the idea that there's a lot of choices. So if you don't like silver, you can paint it a lot of different things. It's, again, one of those planes that went just about everywhere and sold to just about everybody. Let's look at some of the parts. So somebody had started working on this in the class here. So some parts there. It'll be the rockets are there. Wheels and flaps are here. Just gives you an idea of the size. It's a fairly good size model. For an early type of jet. Yeah, it's a bit like this. And your wings. Get that going. What's interesting is they've got the fuel tanks already attached. Whether there's a pro or con to that, I don't know, but that's how they do it here with Revell. You've got the glass pieces, a couple of cockpit options. One has a lot of different panels on it, and the other one's a more clear bubble top. So the interior pieces, let's see the pilot there. I mean, it's not the greatest detail, but it's not bad for 48 scale. It isn't bad. If I can get in closer. So you can see that. It's not too bad for the pilot. I mean, it's better out there, but still, that's pretty good. Bomb bombs and etc. Nose cone, pylons. And here's your nuclear bomb, which, like I said, was pretty huge. The size of that thing. I wonder what the weight would have been like trying to fly with that thing underneath your aircraft. Wow. So that's what's in the box. Quite a lot of goodies in here. And we're going to take a quick peek at one here in the book. And this is 101 Great Fighters, which is kind of funny. This is technically a bomber or fighter bomber, but it made the cut. So this began its life in the summer of 1944 when Republic Aviation's design team investigated the possibility of adapting the airframe of the P-47 Thunderbolt to take an axial flow turbojet. So that's when this concept began. Maximum speed of 605 miles an hour at 4,000 feet. Service ceiling of 40,500 feet. And let's see. The first of the XP-84 prototypes were completed in December of 1945 and made their first flights in February of 1946. The deliveries of the F-84B began in the summer of 1947, and the F-84C incorporated an improved electrical system and an improved bomb release mechanism. Then the D and E type showed up. The E showed up by 1949, and the G appeared in 1952. And as mentioned, it was the one that was able to do the in-flight refueling, which is a whole new thing. And it was the first USAF fighter to have tactical nuclear capability. So it was widely used in the Korean War, but it was completely outclassed as a fighter by the MiG-15. But it stayed a very effective ground attack and bomber role, so... And let's see, the F-84G appeared in Korea in 1952, and Thunderjets carried out heavy attacks on North Korea's irrigation dams. Wow. So that's the history of this guy. So that is Revell's Thunderjet kit. Okay, we will see you next time on the next episode. Stay safe and keep on building.